Attention passionate Dallas, Cowboys. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Dallas Cowboys' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Dallas Cowboys fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Dallas, COWBOYSFANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. You've probably heard the whispers circulating around the NFL circles, rumors that are gaining momentum with each passing day. And let me tell you, what's being talked about right now could be one of the biggest moves in the league this season. We're talking about the Cleveland Browns, a team that's been struggling to find consistency, especially on defense, which has been giving up an alarming 28 points per game. That's not just a little leak in the boat. That's a sinking feeling for a team with playoff aspirations. And amidst all that, there's a huge rumor that's been making waves. Myles Garrett, one of the most dominant pass rushers in the league, could be heading to the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, you heard that right. The Cowboys, who have been in search of that elite edge rusher to complement their already talented defense, might soon add Garrett, who's not just any player but a three-time All-Pro and one of the most feared defensive players in the NFL today. This potential trade, if it goes through, could be monumental. The Browns, currently sitting at 2-5, are apparently open to trading Garrett in a deal that would send the Cowboys a first-round pick in the 2026 draft and a second-round pick in 2025. That's a significant haul, but it makes sense if you consider the bigger picture. Cleveland is reportedly looking for cap relief, around $22 million, and they're also selling the idea of a rebuild, especially with rumors swirling about a possible trade request from Garrett himself. The Browns are in a bit of a slump, and with quarterback Deshaun Watson's QBR dropping to 79.2 and their offensive line struggling, allowing an average of 4 sacks per game, it's no secret that they're trying to shake things up. This trade, if it happens, would be a clear signal that Cleveland is ready to pivot and rebuild around the future, possibly moving on from some established stars to expedite the process. Now, let's talk about Garrett himself. At 30 years old, he's still in his prime and arguably playing some of the best football of his career. Standing 6'4" and weighing around 272 pounds, Garrett is a physical marvel. His PFF grade this season is an impressive 95. Which speaks volumes about his impact on the field. Over his career, he's racked up 98 sacks. Mind you, that's a number that places him among the elite pass rushers in NFL history, and has been a relentless force with 212 quarterback hits and 22 forced fumbles. His production isn't just about numbers, it's about the way he disrupts offenses, constantly forcing quarterbacks into uncomfortable throws and creating turnovers. In 2025, until October 25th, Garrett already had 5 sacks, leading the NFL and showing he's still at the top of his game. His ability to generate pressure, 28 pressures so far this year, and his knack for getting after the quarterback make him an invaluable asset. Even after missing a game due to a knee injury in Week 3, he came back strong, notching 3 sacks against the Eagles in Week 6, reminding everyone why he's considered one of the most feared defensive players in the league. What makes this move even more intriguing for the Cowboys is how Garrett would fit into their defensive scheme. Dallas runs a 3-4 defense, and Garrett's skill set would perfectly complement Micah Parsons, creating a duo that offensive lines would have nightmares facing. Parsons, who's been a revelation this season, is already among the league's best edge rushers, but pairing him with Garrett would essentially double the pressure on opposing quarterbacks. The Cowboys have been missing that big-name, game-changing pass rusher, especially with the questions surrounding DeLawrence, who's been battling shoulder issues and has only been on the field for about 60% of the snaps. With Garrett, Dallas would not only bolster their pass rush, but they'd also bring a veteran presence, someone who can elevate the entire defense. Imagine the havoc they could wreak together, especially considering Garrett's ability to win on twists and stunts, which would complement Parsons' explosiveness perfectly. Now, looking at the bigger picture, the Cowboys' defense has been trending upward this season, and adding Garrett could push them into the top tiers of NFL defenses. Their pressure rates have increased from around 20 pressures per game to nearly 28, which is a significant jump. Their EPA per play, which measures how well they perform on defense, is also climbing, sitting at plus 0.49, a mark that puts them firmly in the top 10 overall. Opposing quarterbacks are feeling the heat, and this new duel could be the final piece of the puzzle to turn Dallas into a legitimate Super Bowl contender. Their ability to force turnovers, pressure the quarterback, and limit big plays is exactly what you need when facing high-powered offenses like the Eagles or the 49ers. And speaking of the 49ers, if the Cowboys do make this move, it could seriously shake up the NFC landscape. Garrett, as an X-factor, could be the difference-maker in tight playoff games, just like the impact he's had in previous seasons. His ability to generate chaos, similar to what we saw with other pass rush legends, is exactly what Dallas needs to take that next step. The odds of them winning the Super Bowl would shorten considerably, with some betting markets showing the Cowboys chances jumping from plus 8.0 to around plus 3.200 if Garrett joins the team. That's a huge shift, and it's no exaggeration to say that this move could define the franchise's future for years to come. Now, let's not forget the strategic aspect. Cleveland's motivations are clear. They want cap relief, draft capital, and perhaps a fresh start. Garrett's $105 million contract weighs heavily on their cap, with $24 million still owed in 2026. Moving him now would free up a lot of space, especially with the team looking to retool. Meanwhile, for Dallas, this is about more than just adding a player. It's about building a dynasty. Garrett's presence would be a statement, a message to the NFL that the Cowboys are serious about contending, about re-establishing their dominance not just in the NFC, but across the league. Pairing him with Parsons is not just a short-term fix. It's a long-term investment into their defensive identity, a way to mirror the great defenses of the past, where relentless pass rushers made life miserable for quarterbacks season after season. And if we zoom out a little, we see that the Cowboys are in a prime position to make this move. Their salary cap situation is manageable at around $31 million, giving them some flexibility to absorb Garrett's contract, especially if Cleveland does some creative cap work in the deal. Plus, the upcoming trade deadline is a crucial window for teams looking to make a push. Dallas's front office has shown they're not afraid to make bold moves. Think about their aggressive approach last season, or the acquisitions that helped them reach the playoffs. Adding Garrett would be the ultimate statement, one that signals they're all in on a Super Bowl run. Now, just imagine the impact on the field. Garrett and Parsons terrorizing quarterbacks like Hurts or even the Niners' Brock Purdy would be a sight to behold. Garrett's ability to win on the edge, leading to an expected plus 13 sacks for the team, would complement Parsons' explosiveness perfectly. Their combined pressure generation could turn opponents into mistake makers, forcing turnovers and creating short fields for the offense. And speaking of the offense, with the defense bolstered, the Cowboys could play with more confidence, opening up their playbook and controlling games more effectively. The synergy between the pass, rush, and coverage would be a nightmare for offenses, especially when you consider Garrett's knack for getting sacks. He already has 8-5 this season, and showed in Week 6 that he can still dominate with 3 sacks against the Eagles. Now, shifting gears to the playoff picture, a move like this would put Dallas in serious contention for a deep postseason run. Their odds of making it to Super Bowl LXI would improve significantly, jumping from plus 8.0 to something much more compelling, perhaps around plus 3.200. Garrett's addition could be the missing piece that elevates their defense from good to historic. It's not just about individual talent, it's about the chemistry, the scheme, the mindset. Garrett, with his relentless pursuit of the quarterback and ability to force turnovers, could be the catalyst that ignites the entire team. It's a move that could define a season and set the stage for a potential dynasty. Looking at the historical context, the Cowboys have always been a franchise that values defense. Remember their dominant units in the 90s or recent playoff runs. Garrett's addition would be a throwback to those days when the front seven was feared across the league. His ability to create chaos, plus his experience and leadership, would provide a boost not just on Sundays but throughout the week in practice, raising the level of everyone around him. Pairing him with Parsons, a player already on the ascent, creates a perfect storm of pass rushing excellence. Of course, all of this hinges on the trade actually happening. Cleveland's front office has to weigh the potential benefits against their rebuilding timeline and cap constraints. But the signals are clear. Garrett's name is on the table, and the Cowboys are at least exploring the possibility. If it materializes, it would be a blockbuster move that would have ripple effects across the league, shaking up division standings, playoff seedings, and even the narrative of this NFL season. The Cowboys, already considered contenders, would become even more formidable with a duo like Garrett and Parsons leading their defense. In conclusion, this rumored trade is more than just a rumor. It's a statement about the direction Dallas wants to go. They're aiming high, they're building a defense that can carry them to glory, and adding a player of Garrett's caliber would be a massive step toward that goal. For fans, it's an exciting time, dreaming of a defense that can dominate opponents, creating chaos, and finally delivering that elusive Super Bowl victory. For Cleveland, it's a strategic move, a way to reset and rebuild, but for Dallas, it's about seizing the moment, making a bold statement, and putting themselves on the fast track to NFL greatness. As we watch the deadline approach, keep an eye on this story, because it could very well be the difference between a good season and a legendary one for the Dallas Cowboys. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Dallas Cowboys news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential move? Do you believe Garrett will end up in Dallas, and how do you see him fitting into this team's plans? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cowboys. Remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Dallas Cowboys news. This season is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory, and with moves like these, the Cowboys might just be on the verge of something historic. Keep the faith, stay passionate, and let's see how this story unfolds in the coming weeks. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Cowboys.